Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. As you can probably tell, there's been a slowdown in the videos as I've sort of waned away from doing the, I would say, game reviews on the weekends, as they're probably from next week, as I'm really starting to ramp up the AFLW, that like research that will probably play into that, and you'll get more videos on the weekend just with AFLW content there, so that'll be good. But yeah, I don't see it really needing the game by game reviews, I would say. But anyway, let's just jump into this fantasy round review, and due to a couple of things, you will see a couple of changes, and the full rollout will happen over the next little bit as I get all my sort of templates updated, etc. But anyway, let's jump into this. As you can see, screen is a lot bigger for you guys, so you can actually see it properly and really see what's actually going on. But I did score a 21-47, and I'll update the graphics for next week and everything else for the to get the round scores, etc. all on. But yeah, 21-47, a round rank of 20,054, and an overall rank of 11,689. And when you think about all the chaos that happened and everything, I had a premium score 46. I had a donut as well, and I still ended up with this score. You're going to be pretty happy. I know I was a little bit disappointed if you look at it that I did have players on the bench in Clark and also Johnson. And if I'd gone another guy, if I'd gotten, say, a Martin, which is in the trade plans this week, which I have some quite unique trade plans almost in a way, or losing my unique to sort of upgrade, etc., because I don't really rate how he went all about it, but we'll see about it. But yeah, we'll talk about that later in the week, I think. But to basically run 600 places behind, lose 600 places for a donut, it's not the end of the world, because I was trapped in what I was going to do. And I basically lost about 90 to 100 points to what I would have scored. And a 22-30 probably would have seen me go up, I don't know, 1,000 ranks from maybe and hit the 10,000 top 10k. But it is what it is. Rosie 111, he was huge and just gets it done time and time again. Has the Eagles matchup, so that is a potential VC or captaincy area, I would say. Probably captaincy area there. They are playing in the Are they playing WA? That looks like they might be playing WA. I can actually check. Nope, they're playing in Adelaide, so that's a good thing that they're playing in Adelaide, and he doesn't have to make a trip over, etc. Playing at home, more likely to play. Wangadeen Malira 145, he was huge. He was the VC of the captaincy of the round, because they played late on, but he in the end had 43 touches, 6 marks, 2 tackles for a huge 145. Zorko 79, that was disappointing. He's sort of been on off. A lot of these guys this year, it's been really hard to sort of track them because they have one good game, one bad game, etc. Then you have the likes of Harry Sheasel 93. He did all right, but not perfect. But then again, it's sort of just like a pass mark, I would almost say. And then you've got the likes of Jack Sinclair scoring a 92. Again, another sort of semi all right, but also at the same time, like just a pass mark, sort of. And then Callum Mills, again, another 95 from him. So he's sort of done all right. And I have looked at potentially moving him on, etc., if I could. But yeah, at the end of the day, because of the cash I've actually got in the bank, and we'll show it at the end of this video, what I've sort of considered doing and whether or not it's crazy or not. And then, yeah, Angus Clark on the bench, 65, just making some cash, which was good. 32 break even. So he basically, him and Johnson just making cash. They've got the Essendon versus Richmond game. So they got an easy matchup where they could easily score 60 again, both of them, and go up another sort of 40k each. And then by that point, they'll be both in the 500k range very easily. They're both basically matching each other. If they get into the 500k range by then that's a really good marker. They'll be, what are they, about 970 between them. Another 80k gets them. I would almost have enough if I had a third trade to be able to get my Harry Ralston off field, but I might need to save a little bit of cash there to do that. So that might be another week in the making there. And maybe just upgrading Doherty in that week with a box short or something of that regard. There could be the case or the route that I go down in a couple weeks time, etc. Because Doherty is got a 95 break even, so he's probably not going to hit it, and he's basically stopped his cash gen, so probably time to move him on in the next little bit. Could even consider moving him on this week to another big midfielder, but we'll just have to wait and see. Then we move on to the midfield. Jai Caldwell, 79, and he's done syndesmosis, so he's now a trade out, and we'll get to what we need to do with him. And what my sort of plans are, etc. Really hunting matchups at this point in the year. So you'll probably see me look at who basically is playing Port Adelaide. Who's playing West Coast? Who's playing Richmond? Who's playing even North Melbourne at this point in time? They've got the Ds. Don't really see anyone there that I like. Who's also got as well just teams like Carlton as well is probably a good team to look at potentially. Going and trying to target them. Guys like Dunkley could actually have a run home, etc. And targeting guys that have green matchups, guys that potentially play 2 or 3 of the bottom 5 or 6 sides, and let's run with those guys because they're bound to score really, really well. Taylor Sarong, yeah, I wish I would potentially have even traded him out if I didn't have the Caldwell injury, but I don't think I can now trade him out because of that, because I still need to be upgrading my side. Dacos, 132, he was mega. He now goes into the M1 spot for me. 107 on the year now and has Gold Coast, and I don't really expect Gold Coast to put anyone major on him, so he should do well. And then you've got Bontempelli going 133. He's back to his semi-best, I would say, after a down week. So he's gone 1 up week, 1 down week, 1 up week. So yeah, he's done for the 3 games I've had him for, I think. As I think I picked him up for Richmond. I think in the last 3 he's gone 108, which is all right. It's not perfect, but it's all right. Butters 119, repaying some of the lost ground, I would say, from his 79 last week. And he comes up into a potential captaincy option. I just don't know how well he'll score against West Coast, to be honest with you. He's projected somehow only in 89, but we'll see how he goes. I don't expect him to get tagged, so he could have a 40 possession game loading in the next week. Doherty, 84. He was really good. We got him, round 13? So he's had 5 games with us. And in those 5 games, he's gone 98.2, which has been pretty good for the price that we got him at. I'm pretty sure we got him in the 700k range, potentially, even just slightly more. Might have been 755 from memory. Let me actually just check round 13. I think I brought him in then. Did I? Or was it round 14 that we brought him in? Might have been round 14 we brought him in. We brought him in round 14. And he was priced at 821k when we brought him in. So a little bit more expensive than what I thought. And he'd already put on a 112. So that would be, he has scored for us, what's that? 492 minus 112, 380 in 4 games, which is an average of 95, which isn't the worst. It was like an average of almost 99 last week, but obviously he had an 84. Tom McCarthy came back down to earth a little bit, but he's still massively just running it up. And he's probably a guy that we're going to keep for another, well, depending on form dependent, for another maybe 4 weeks or so. And by then, if you look at his price projections, he's going to make, you would expect, just looking at that, that's another 164k, just going in the mid 70s, which would get him into the 600k range. If he can go another 20 on top of those for the next 3 weeks, that would be another, probably, I would hazard a guess, another 40 plus 60k, another 100k on top of that, so another 250k or so, which would get him into the sort of low 700s, which would be a pretty good point to probably jump off if he's going 10, 15 point unders and I have enough rookies on the bench to really just be able to jump off him. But yeah, that was all right. And I did lose out 8 points here by just looking at this. I did lose out 8 points to Ralston over Johnson, and I was never going to put Johnson over Sarong, but that was 17 points if you wanted to play perfectly. Brodie Grundy has been the pick of sort of the rucks, and he has gone massive since we brought him in. We brought him in post-bye, Post his buy-in, he's gone 121, 137, 113. That's a 3-round average of 123.7, and he is running up the rankings now. Averaging 103 on the year, he's doing fantastic. And then Tristan Cherry, escaped injury, concussion it would have been, and he sat out the last little bit. So it might actually help him out that he's sat out sort of 5-10% game time, because, I mean, he would have scored maybe another 10 points, but he's a little bit fitter now, or a little bit less fatigued from the game against the Dogs, and now comes up against Gawn and Grundy in the next 2 weeks, which is a mega run. And there even is a case to say that you could trade out the likes of a Tristan Cherry, but I'll probably hold him, because I have a feeling long run he'll do pretty well, because last time he played Sydney, he was injured, and I'm pretty sure he was slightly injured in this game against Melbourne anyway. So I'm hoping for 105s from him in these next couple games, but we'll see about that. Bailey Smith, sucks that he was out. I couldn't do much about it because Toby Green had already played. It sucks that they knew on the Friday and they didn't tell us till the Saturday. There kind of needs to be some, I would say, some type of penalty for that, some type of soft cap for that, just to disincentivize it, to be honest. Kennedy, 85. It was, yeah, pretty decent. Would have been much, much better if he didn't concede 3 free kicks against. That would have been a 94, and potentially I think a couple of them might have been tackles or kicks, etc. They probably were. So that's a probable 100 gone begging, I would say, if you reverse the free kicks against. Jack McRae, 123, was all right. Petrarca, 70, that was really poor by him. Darcy, when you get an 88 out of that game that he was playing, I think he had a 65 last quarter or something dumb like that, you take it and you run, because he was getting bullied by the North Melbourne defenders. He had about 5 or 6 marking contests where he served a free kick but didn't get one. So you take the 88 and you run. And then Toby Green scratched his way to a ton. And to be honest with you, there is actual thought or process, I would say, to maneuvering him on, just because I don't rate his likelihood of actually doing anything. So, round 18. If we look at it, and I just want to preface one thing, I could actually do Gordon. That could be a run and a half to do. I'm thinking doing this and then trading Green out immediately, which sounds so dumb to do. But if you look at Green, and you look at, he's got Geelong. He averages against Geelong 85.8. What did he do early on in the year against them? He did 73 against them. I think he probably gets held pretty well. Whereas I think Martin has that big monster potential VC candidate game in him. And then if we look at the midfielders here, and we go Gordon, and we go 1K left, and then we do this right here. I know I traded in Toby Green last week, but Nick Martin has the Richmond matchup where if we look at what he did against Richmond last time, he went 166. There is no Caldwell, so him and Merritt are probably going to run riot. And Richmond, is there any point really tagging at this point? Just they're going to be in full rookie mode at this point, to be honest. And I think Essendon win that one. And I think Gordon as well is a guy against St Kilda. I'm pretty sure he's played pretty well against them in the past. Nope, he's actually gone 77.6. So he could cop a Windhager, to be honest with you. But we'll see about that. But he's come back absolutely on form in the 2 games he's played, dominant time on ground. So it will be interesting to see who Windhager goes to. Will be interesting to see if they potentially tag the likes of Gordon. But that's just my initial thoughts at the moment. And there's honestly, I could go to like a Dawson if I wanted to. I could go to a Brayshaw. I can go to any mid in the game, I think, if I go by price, if possible. But I don't think I can do it just like that. But anyway, you get my point here that I can get to any midfielder. I can even get to Holmes if I necessarily wanted to, who plays GWS, who might tag. But yeah, I can get to anyone, which is good. I get off of Toby Green, who probably has a potential to drop a 70, and get in 2 guys that are probably going to go potential. These 2 have the potential to go 150 plus games, whereas Toby Green doesn't really have that, I don't think, without kicking an absolute bag. And Jai Caldwell obviously is injured. But anyway, that is the video there. Sort of giving away my trade plans a little bit, but at the same time, I think it's sort of semi-obvious at this point in the year, especially with an injury like Caldwell, what I was gonna do. And you'll see in Supercoach, which I'll record tomorrow night, that I'll have probably similar plans across there as well. But anyway, that is the video. If you guys did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and I will see you back here tomorrow for my Supercoach round review. Bye guys.